Battle control initialized.
Hello there, comrades and cannon fodder, Dvoid here. I've got a 1v1 multiplayer game on Timian map. I'm using Russia, my opponent's using Ukraine. I'll just increase the speed a little bit for this early phase. While we get the first units out, I always have my engineer, the second unit built, just so I can start the captures early on this map. You've got an oil derrick very close there, look. And then the next rifles I always order up there. So let's see what my opponent did. He's set up his scout straight away. He's got his capture done straight away. So he's kept up. Although he's got 2 grenadiers. Yeah, he's moving them around the edge of the map. Standard build orders all around by the look of it. My opponent, yeah, we've started to build the rocket troops at this point. Now I'm placing my rifle scouts and guards at this point, at the 2-minute point, when these guys come out. There you go, look, I'm placing all my rifle guards. That was the enemy's movement, that was. But he's got his grenadiers there in place. I was a bit slow with my rifle guards, you see. There's one right there, but you can't see them. And that's his scout gone. Well, he captured that, and it looks like he's left it at that. He's brought his engineer back to base. And our build production is pretty much equal. You know, we're about to place our service depots at about the same instant. And I'm capturing his oil derrick now. So I'll have 3 now, but looks like he's targeting this one. They're already damaged a bit, so they won't last under attack. The grenadiers are still in place, look, down there. So he's waiting for the right moment. That's always good. Yeah, it's always a risk because it's not a particularly powerful group of units, this. I've not got many rocket troops in. 3, in fact. That's no good. I should have at least 4 or 5 if I'm doing this. But I'm trying to disrupt his expansion, look. Because I know at this point he's got his MCV out. Because I've got mine. So I'm trying to just disrupt his expansion a little bit. You know? Yeah, he's targeting my oil derrick, so he's got that one. Now I'm attacking his support. He's managed to save it very good. He's on the ball there. But now I decide to try and salvage my units and fall back. And he's ahead, so it's not ideal me losing units like that. Right. So I'm a couple of grand behind in army value. I needed to save that. It was important. And he's got a big group of rocket troops there. I don't want my tanks bumping into them. Let's have a look at the army composition. Yeah, he's got double the amount of rocket troops that I've got. He's still got his engineer alive, and he's placing mines. Very effective mines are. They're very useful, and when you combine them with walls to divert the enemy, direct them into mines and things. If I was to attack, he could build a wall there, so it encourages me. He could build a wall here, for example, and encourage me to go this way, and I'd run into his mines. So they are very useful mines and walls when you know how to use them well. Now I'm having to protect my MCV, so the bulk of my army's up here. And let's have a look at the combat tab. 15 to 18, yeah. Yeah, he's used his grenadiers. It looks like he's going to target that oil derrick, which is at least a use of, you know, it's making use of them. There we go, he's targeted that. Still expanding and moving here, protecting that MCV. But my low power. No, it didn't. I'm okay there. So now I know I've got a chance. I should have counter-attacked while he was attacking, but, you know, I was busy and distracted, so this is my response. Forgot to transfer his autox now. It hasn't cost him money-wise, but now it's costing him position because I'm counter. I shouldn't have all these autox in position like that. That's 2, 3. Oh dear. That's 4. That's 5 autox. Now he's still mining there, so to this point he hasn't lost any money by keeping it. But you shouldn't have that many Autrox in position to be knocked out at once. Let's have a look at our army values after that. And now we need to, you see, we're both expanding, but I realise it should be fairly open here, but I'm not realising that this is a crucial point where we're both trying to expand to. So I was building up defences here because I knew he was going to respond, so that's why I've sent my army north. Still placing mines, good to see. If you build a mine layer, keep it producing mines, going back and forth, always keep it active to make use of the investment. Yeah, he needs to fall back, salvage any units he can. We're almost equal army value, but you see now I realise what's going on. Ouch. Yeah, that needs to get out of there. He's dropping the cash off first. Yeah, I've realised this is important at this point. He's probably rushing to reinforce it himself yet. I wonder where his mine layers are going. Yeah, to the middle. That's it, I've got overwhelming force in the area now. I'm struggling for cash. As soon as I see this, I'm immediately thinking of thieves, because I've just placed my radar there. And the first thing I'm going to be doing, look, is building thieves. So yeah, that's the primary look. Yeah. No, I've got a good position because I can use this Timian to make that look like that's the primary target. Even the refinery attack on purpose. That won't occur to my opponent. It won't be so obvious that I'm leaving this alive. You know, he's busy trying to keep this going. He's called it. So yeah, that was a decent-ish game, that one. I think it's probably the right time to call it. I'll just go through the basic stats, like the army graph. Look, you see he peaked above me, and I think it was partly to do with this eco raid where I tried to disrupt his expansion at the start. I lost a small little chunk of units there, so I'm thinking that's probably partly why that peaks there. But his army was considerably larger than mine at one point. His earnings, yeah, his earnings, look, they dipped at the bottom there. Yeah, I had a reasonable army, not a massive one, but a reasonable army at the end. And our kills and losses were very close. And what we destroyed was fairly close. I mean, I've got more structures and those Autrox, you know, that's a lot of value that I destroyed. So other than that, I think that was the killer blow, destroying those Autrox. He had 2 Autrox left after that. It would have crippled his economy. But there's all the basic information, and there's that first game.
Battle control terminated.
It was a good one. I enjoyed that. It was a basic, decent battle.
Battle
just go
control
straight into the second
initialized.
one. And I joined someone's game because they chose the map, and I jumped in. We're on Shadowfiend 2. The map, I'm using Russia, and my opponent is using Germany. We've got here, he's building... I had a rifleman and an engineer very early, so it disrupted my chance to get infantry on the contestable oil derrick. But when I did finally get there, my opponent had only placed 1 rifle, so there was no reason for me to worry. I captured it anyway. There we go, that's secure, but he's escorting his engineer, which is the right thing to do, definitely. And he's going for this side. He's going to capture this oil derrick as well by the looks of it. He's securing it, and his engineer's on its way. But he's also placed a couple of rifles here to head off my units in case an engineer turns up on its own. He can kill it. So it's a nice little tactic, using a couple of rifles like that. But I was on the ball enough to just escape, Look how close that was. But he wasn't watching and he didn't pursue. And I'm immediately sorting that situation, while still, you know, holding on to them with that, to this central oil derrick. That's the most contestable one. When you hold this, it gives you a chance to have more than the enemy. You know, he's got 2 there, but I can take 2 here. If you've got that middle one as well, you've got the advantage. There we go, I'm just clearing those up. But he's also captured that, so I'm guessing... Yeah, he's got an engineer there. Is he? There's another one, look. And I saw it straight away. Look, he's just getting away. Nicely done. But there is no hope. No hope for him. Yeah, so he got a couple of engineers to go on a big capture spree, so he's used to taking all these oil derricks on this map. I mean, it's a decent strategy. He's spread out all of his rifles, but it's allowed him to take 1, 2, 3 of them when I'm holding the centre, and I've only got 2. So he's actually, that's good. You know, I'm winning, and he's still got more oil derricks. As in, I've taken the central position. I'm the one who's in command of the areas where I am, so he's got his engineer in there. And I've seen that. And the snipe's coming straight for him. And that's not happening there. I think that's both his engineers down now. I'll just check armies just to make sure. Yeah, I've killed them. My opponent hasn't set up there. He's just got that 3rd one there now. And I'm expanding with my first MCV. So production, yeah, he's building MCV. He's just slightly behind. We're about equal on economy. In fact, he's got more ore trucks. So even with a late placement there... Yeah, well, I have got... You know, it was at 5 minutes I got that set up. It was quite quick. Maybe it wasn't that delayed. Army values is slightly behind. £1.5 grand at this point. Significant. I'm clearing out some troops here. Yeah, I was thinking he's just going to snipe my engineer if I go for a capture there. So, but he's actually left a ranger in place there. So I thought I've cleared this area, but I do know he can just send a vehicle to snipe my engineer, so I haven't done that. But I think eventually I go for it if I remember correctly. But he's still got 1, 2, 3 to my 2. So he's winning the oil war. Yeah, I'm escorting this lot, the engineer, look. And I'm even placing a guy there to warn me. But with that ranger in position ready to strike, I'm afraid my engineer's doomed if he tries for that. Yeah, I can see he's holding this oil derrick as well. I've got my expansion set up here. I've cut him off nicely. Right, here's my engineer. Now he's seeing it straight away. Yeah, it was a trade. Engineer for a ranger. So I decided to take that out instead. Army values, a couple of grand between them here. You know, there's been no combat so far, so my army's just building up. But my opponent's is as well. But he's not expanding. So I've taken that one out. That leaves us with 2 each. After what I'd done, I probably would have been better off using an engineer and capturing that after the investment. But the fighting. Here we go. He did have a scout for his SCV. It was just a warning. He was obviously using this or something. That's really spoilt his plans there. 23, 24 to 25 in army value. My opponent's running low on resources. $27 each value. And that surprised me a little bit. So I've brought my units into a bit of a defensive position. I wasn't expecting that. And his mechanics are at work repairing his damaged vehicle. There's a bit of a distraction just to get his army in place. See, he's the one moving to me. Stop. Stop finally. But he's moving to me. I've got these straight away, no messing about. There we go. He's got no money still. Now I know that. There's another vehicle this way, but there's no money for that. To steal, just keeping them in 0. On the scene now. So yeah, I wasn't expecting an army in equal size to mine, but I think it was probably lucky I didn't leave it any longer, because that artillery, like I say, would have been in action and it could have changed the whole situation. His army value peaked above mine again, look, like the last guy did in that other game. So you know, I could have been lucky there, him having that larger army, because he overran that small force of mine here. So, if he'd have had artillery as well, you know, that could have gone very differently. I may have found myself falling back, desperately trying to build up a defensive force if I'd have messed that large engagement up. So, yeah, I may have been lucky there. It may have not been how it appeared. It could have been a lot closer. But he's killed more of mine. let's just have a proper look at the combat. Yeah, I've got more in value, but he killed more individual units, so I just killed more in value, but, you know, he did well. It was a decent enough game, that, and both of them, the opponent's army value peaked above mine, so that was alright. You see, his earnings dropped because, you know, he's got no cash left. You can't sustain a war on this against an opponent with map control when you've got that amount of ore left. You can't do it. So there's that second game. Hope everyone enjoyed it, and until next time, thank you very much for watching, and
Battle control
goodbye.
terminated.